Oakland at Kansas City. The Chiefs are 5-0. Big surprise, although the last couple weeks not that big because the defense is playing well. They're creating turnovers. Again, Alex Smith isn't turning the ball over. He had that one interception last week. Jamal Charles is running well, but they go against an Oakland defense which is getting pressure on the quarterback. They turned the ball. They got 5 turnovers last week against the Chargers. They got pressure on Phillip Rivers. The defense for the Raiders is very underrated and can do damage if they can stop the run and make Alex Smith beat them. The offense, on the other hand, is going to have a tough game. Terrell Pryor needs to be able to run. They'll probably be without McFadden and Rashad Jennings. And Marcel Reese is going to have lead back duties, which he probably won't be able to get that many carries and have to split a lot of snaps with Jeremy Stewart because he's going to have to be in a lot of other formations. Although the Chiefs are 5-0, the Raiders are 6-0 in the past 6 years against the Chiefs in Arrowhead, and I'm going to take history on this game, and I'm going to pick the Raiders to win this 24-20. All right, let's go with Cincinnati at Buffalo. Cincinnati last week got a big win against the Patriots, although I think the rain had a lot to do with that win. The defense only gave up 6 points to Tom Brady throughout the game, which is very good. They intercepted him late, even with the rain coming down. It was still a hard play to make for Adam Jones. The offense only put up 13 points, another disappointing week for them and Jay Gruden. For Buffalo, Doug Marrone has to go with a new quarterback with only 1 game experience than Thad Lewis. He still has his 2 backs, C.J. Spiller, Fred Jackson. Robert Woods is going to be there, which is a huge plus because even though he's a rookie, he's making big plays. I like Cincinnati to bounce back because of the inexperience at the quarterback position for Buffalo, and on top of it, a banged up secondary where people are throwing the ball wherever and whenever they want. I'm going to take Cincinnati 27-13 in Buffalo. Next, we have Detroit at Cleveland, and Cleveland lost its quarterback in Brian Hoyer, which he was coming out. He was doing very well. But luckily, they have Jason Campbell and they have Brandon Weeden, 2 quarterbacks with experience in this offense. And Brandon Weeden was the starting quarterback in the beginning of the year. Brandon Weeden didn't have Josh Gordon when he struggled, so that's a huge plus that he has him again. The defense, Cleveland's defense is playing very well. Their front 7 is stopping the run. They're getting after the quarterback. I can't speak enough about the pressure that they can bring. For Detroit, they had a huge loss last week. A defense that let Aaron Rodgers throw on them in the second half. The offense was without Calvin Johnson, and they had to rely a lot more on Reggie Bush, Joique Bell, and the receiving core led by Ryan Broyles. Nate Burleson still out. I like Cleveland in this game, and they're going to stay in the playoff hunt and on top of the AFC North, and I think they win 34-26. Let's go Carolina at Minnesota. Cam Newton's starting to prove that he was a waste of a first-round pick. I don't care how many points he puts up in certain weeks. I don't care how many stats he's breaking. He's not winning games. He turns the ball over. He gets sacked. You know, you can talk about the lack of weapons, but you have D'Angelo Williams, Mike Tolbert, and Jonathan Stewart's going to return next week or soon. You have Steve Smith, Brandon LaFell, Ted Ginn, all these guys, and even Greg Olsen, you should make better. These guys had careers, they've all had success, and Cam Newton just needs to be better. The defense for the team is playing very well if Cam Newton can step up. Their playoff team, Minnesota, last week 2 weeks ago against the Steelers, Matt Castle showed what he showed in New England. He was promising. Looks like he can do a lot. Christian Ponder will probably still get the start because Leslie Frazier, I don't think, is going to let a guy lose a job due to injury. Adrian Peterson's going to have to be a factor in this game to win. He's going to have to run early and often, which I don't see him being as big as he needs to be because of Carolina with Luke Kuechly and Star Latutelay and all those guys up front that are just blasting offenses. I like Carolina in this game, 17-13. Let's go Pittsburgh at the New York Jets. Both teams have defenses playing well. They've both been torched. Tennessee torched New York. The Vikings torched Pittsburgh. And the Jets, their offense plays very well at home. They played controlled. And with a defense that's playing that good, it's the reason why they're 2-0 at home. Pittsburgh, they can't block anybody for Big Ben. They have Le'Veon Bell, who had a huge week 2 weeks ago. That can help with protection. You know, they can do screens, they can do draws if if they try to rush too high up to get Ben Roethlisberger. I like the Jets. I think they get a 23-17 win, and they come back and they can keep contention in the AFC and even in the AFC East. We'll do Philadelphia at Tampa Bay. Vic will be out this week, and Nick Foles is going to be the starting quarterback. The Eagles' defense, one of the worst in the league, and they're going to play a rookie quarterback, Mike Glennon, who last week was having an okay controlled game until he had the 2 interceptions from Patrick Peterson in the fourth quarter that led the Cardinals to win that game. The Bucs' defense, though, is very solid, and they can contend. Darrelle Revis should be on Deshaun Jackson all game. Chip Kelly's offense is going to definitely be a more traditional with Nick Foles. You're not going to see a lot of the zone read option plays with him. I like the Buccaneers, especially since they're in Tampa Bay, to get this win and to stop their losing streak. And I think Tampa Bay is going to win 24-10. Green Bay at Baltimore. The Packers had a huge win last week against the Lions. They played a very good front seven, and they basically canceled them out. The Baltimore Ravens defense has to play a similar style because they're weaker in the back end, and their front seven gets pressure on the quarterback. I've seen games very similar to this where the Packers, they need wins, and they will get a win here. The offense, Aaron Rodgers is on a tear. He had that bye week, which was a very good time for him to get the bye week. Him and Mike McCarthy went over the offense. They went over everything they needed to go over, and they will get the win here. Although they will be without Clay Matthews. And the only way I see Baltimore winning is if they hit Torrey Smith off big plays, off the play action, with Ray Rice running rampant, and Ray Rice is going to have a 200-yard game. I don't like Joe Flacco, like I said a lot. He's not a quarterback that's going to beat you. I see the Packers winning 34-20 in Baltimore to go to 3-2 and start contending again for the NFC North. This time we have 2 games that are going to be bad for the away teams. You have Houston hosting St. Louis, and I know a lot of people are probably thinking Houston has all these pick six dramas with Matt Schaub. They got destroyed by the Niners. They lost last minute to Seattle. St. Louis isn't a good team. Their defense is very overrated. I was a believer in them. They proved me wrong. Houston will run early and often with Arian Foster and get the win to 24-6. Tavon Austin will be a non-factor like he's been all year. This team just doesn't know how to coach. Jeff Fisher, say bye, dude. I don't see you coming back next year if you keep going the way you're going. Then Denver will be hosting Jacksonville. 56-17. I don't see them dropping 60 or 70. Brock Osweiler will come in probably mid-third quarter after Peyton Manning, humiliates them. Peyton Manning's, it's nothing against the Jaguars. A lot of people have been saying it, but Peyton Manning's tore up every defense, and when your defense is giving up a lot of points and you're going against a team that just dropped 51, it's probably not going to be good for you. So again, Denver 56-17. Next, let's go to a game that's going to be a lot more competitive than I'm sure people are thinking. Tennessee at Seattle. The Titans, honestly, they do have a shot here. Their defense, I'm sure everyone's, starting to see their defense is real. They get turnovers. They're the only, they got a turnover off Alex Smith, who hasn't thrown an interception since week one. Um, Anybody that can do that is good. Uh, the special teams, they suffered the blocked punt, but I mean, other than that, the offense, they kept up with Kansas City. They're a very good football team. It's just I don't trust Ryan Fitzpatrick in the long run. He throws interceptions. Last week he had one, although it was very unfortunate, it bounced off the receiver's hand. It's just you're going against Seattle at home, where their offense is great and where offenses struggle. Their defense is always good, and I can't pick against Seattle at home until they lose and they prove to me that they cannot win or that they cannot lose at home. I'm going to take Seattle. It's going to be a closer game. It's going to be 24-21. Let's go to the game of the week. New Orleans at New England. Drew Brees is coming off another win. He's on a tear. Jimmy Graham's making a case for Offensive Player of the Year because MVP is to Peyton Manning. The defense is going against a good matchup. The Patriots have a hard time running the ball, and they bring pressure. They blitz a lot, which is favorable for them because Tom Brady getting blitzed is very bad recipe. He needs Rob Gronkowski to come back this week to have a competitive edge. I don't think he returns this week. I think the Saints keep rolling. 31-27. It's a rare win in Gillette, but the Patriots will lose. And now we have Arizona at San Francisco. Arizona is surprisingly 3-2, and San Francisco surprisingly 3-2 as well. I expected them to be better as why. The Cardinals have to keep control of the ball to win this game. Palmer can't turn the ball over. Shard Mendenhall, he can't fumble. A lot of the receivers are going to have to be big in this game. They don't have a great offensive line. The defense for the Niners is going to be able to get pressure, and on the other side, the offense for the Niners, they need to rely on Frank Gore still. Colin Kaepernick isn't a great passer from the pocket. He had 6 completions last week for under 100 yards, or a little over 100 yards. He's struggling. He has to bounce back. He has to play the zone read. Again, I've said it a lot. He's not a quarterback that will beat you from the pocket, which is good for the Cardinals because they can stop the run, and with Tyrann Mathieu and Patrick Peterson in the back end, I think it's going to be a lot closer, but because San Francisco is at home, I'm going to take them 24-20.